Hello, this is Dillon Hartman from Durango Silver Company, and I'm here today to talk to you about white turquoise. As you may know or may not know, there's no such thing as white turquoise. There are some turquoise varieties that are such a pale blue, pale green, or kind of a caramely ivory color, but that is not your common material. The most common type of rock that is called white turquoise is white buffalo or howlite. White buffalo is was the first stone to come out and be called white turquoise. White buffalo is from Tonopah, Nevada, and the mine is owned by the Ottisons, and they were the ones that introduced white turquoise. And when they first brought it to the market, I believe they were actually calling it white buffalo, not white turquoise. And as it got distributed to artisans and store owners, it looked like turquoise. It cuts like turquoise when you're cutting a stone. So they says, hey, let's call this white turquoise. Anyways, white buffalo is actually, to my knowledge, scientifically called a opalized calcite. And it's a very rare mineral. And is only known to come from the Tonopah mine. This is some white buffalo. This is a thin vein of white buffalo in the black host rock. Okay, and this is real indicative of white buffalo. It's most valuable when it's stark white with stark black matrix. Okay. Here's some examples of of some low-grade white buffalo that I have in cabochons. Okay, this is white buffalo that's been cut, and to me it's just low-grade white buffalo because it's kind of an off-white, and it doesn't have any interesting matrix or anything. This is probably your standard white buffalo that you're going to see in jewelry, and if this type of white buffalo is being used, that makes the jewelry a lot more affordable. The next grade up from that would be this type of white buffalo here that I call chocolate chip ice cream looking. And you know, this would be the next grade up. Okay, and then I have a high grade version of that look right here in this ring. And you can probably see why this is more high grade. The matrix, the dispersion of the matrix is a lot nicer. So the general composition of the stone is much more attractive, and the stone itself is a more stark white. This particular piece I don't think you'll be able to see in the video, but actually has a section right here where it's real highly siliconated and gives it kind of a gel or semi-translucent look. So this is pretty high grade white buffalo here. Okay. Then I have a ring here which is what I consider even a higher grade of white buffalo, and mainly that's just because how stark white it is, and then the beautiful matrix pattern that's almost kind of starting to be spider web, and you can see it's stark white and stark black. The only stones that we've had, a few stones in the past that were higher grade than this that were really nice spider webbing. And I've seen a tray that the Ottisons have in their personal collection that's just unbelievable. But this is probably about the highest white buffalo that most people will ever see. Okay, here's another pair of earrings with some kind of mid-grade white buffalo. And you can see again they're not stark white. They have some attractive matrix, and they are truly from Nevada. So this is nice white buffalo too. Okay, then I'm going to move on to the stone that's most commonly sold as white turquoise or white buffalo, and as a fraudulent stone. This is called howlite, and you can see if we I hope in the camera that this stone is it really never has stark black matrix. It's usually a light gray matrix in the white stone. And when you polish the howlite, it doesn't take the shine that the white buffalo has. So it has a more dull, pasty kind of shine when it's polished. And howlite, you may or may not know, is the most common imitation turquoise. Howlite worldwide is being dyed blue, stabilized, and sold as turquoise, and predominantly in beads. About probably 70% of the turquoise beads on the market are made from howlite and have been dyed blue. There's also some made from magnesite, cement, glass, plastic, you name it. People have tried to imitate turquoise for hundreds of, if not thousands of years. But anyways, here's howlite. And you know, this can be very beautiful in jewelry too if you're sold it as howlite. I have a piece of it. It's certainly not as valuable as white turquoise or as white buffalo. Here's a piece of howlite in a big huge stone in a bracelet. Okay, and it's pretty neat. It's not super pretty, it's not super cool, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so there's that one. Then moving on, let's get into the next popular, most popular white turquoise stone. And some people sell it as that, some people just simply call it wild horse. But this is wild horse, and this is a magnesite from Arizona. And this stuff to me is very beautiful. You probably can't see in this rough stone, but I have a pendant here. And this pendant has just a gorgeous piece of white wild horse. And this wild horse or white turquoise stone is stark white, and then it has a beautiful reddish brown spider webbing to it, almost like some real high-grade Bisbee turquoise, only white. And I kind of really prefer this wild horse here myself, unless I get the white buffalo that's real stark white with the beautiful black. But so there's that. Okay, and then now let's move on to real authentic white turquoise. Okay, so here you're again, this is rough, so it's not going to look real beautiful. Here's a chunk or a nugget of white turquoise. And this here is white turquoise from the White Creek Mine in Nevada. And this particular material we have sent to the lab and is turquoise. And this piece here is pretty white. It's kind of got a little bit of a greenish yellow tint to it. And when you polish it up, it's amazing. It actually kind of has this, I mean, subtle blue. You really can't tell. It really looks white, but close up on the right lighting, it's kind of a bluish green subtly. So that's some of that. Okay, and then what I think is a lot prettier, I have some white turquoise from the Tortoise Turquoise Mine, and you can see in these nugget beads here. Oh, I don't know if the lighting in here is real good or if it kind of makes them look yellow, but they are pretty darn white, and they have some beautiful spider web to them, matrix. And then a lot of times in the tortoise mine we'll get this white color, and then it'll have spots of this beautiful kind of golden yellow or browns, kind of like this stone has right here. You know, and that is just really beautiful material. And this look also comes out of the Newlander mine, the Colorback mine, and then there's a new mine called the Peacock Mine. And they all get some of these type of colors. I haven't seen too much of the peacock that's this color. It seems to be mainly kind of a mint green like the rest of my tortoise material. Okay, and then here's a couple more stones of the tortoise white turquoise. And you can see they are a little bit more ivory and almost verging on kind of yellowy white. But most people would probably call this white turquoise. Okay. And this is real turquoise, and the neat thing is that it has the beautiful spider webbing to it, and that's what I really like. You probably know if you follow our site, we're spider web junkies, so there's that. Okay, and that kind of wraps up my white turquoise discussion. I wish I had some more jewelry and stuff to show you handy here, but for the sake of not emptying out my showcases, I thought this would probably be good enough to show you. But like I say, there's several of these mines that produce the beautiful white turquoise as well as what's called chalcociterite, another gem that has been called white turquoise. The white buffalo is beautiful. And howlite can be beautiful too, as well as a wild horse. So there's many different things that are considered white turquoise. In all actuality, most of what will be sold to you as white turquoise is not turquoise. But as far as a white buffalo is concerned, it's actually a real rare mineral, and so it is valuable, and it's beautiful. I hope you enjoy and have learned a little bit something more about white turquoise. Have a great day.